All right, we're back for part 2 of this podcast.
Yeah.
Topic is Apollo, whatever his last name is, from Real Housewives of Atlanta. Speak on it, sister.
So, I just didn't understand how he throws Phaedra's dirt in the streets while he was talking to Peter, saying how when he got out of jail, she came to his little project.
All right, go ahead, Apollo. Yeah, he played Phaedra out.
Yeah, he played it out because he was saying when he first got out of jail, she was coming over to the projects or wherever he was living on his little air mattress and visiting him all types of different times of hours and rubbing feet and just being very supportive. And now he don't understand how she just running for the hills and she just left him out to dry and she's supposed to love him, blah, blah, blah. And my thing is, and then of course, black men never want to call each other on this shit.
No.
I sat listening to that and said, well, yeah, of course she did. She was giving you the benefit of the doubt the first time around, thinking that you'd get your shit together. So now, because you did the same shit, probably worse, I'm supposed to be down for you because you didn't learn your lesson.
Yeah, that's just straight ignorance. Like, he still doesn't get it, and that's the sad part. Like, you've been in jail before. Like, you did 5 years. You had a lot of time to think and to think about your life and realize, you know what, this shit doesn't work. Like, you didn't even wait. You did this. You was out for 4 years, and you already back in.
Yeah.
So, like, and you just got caught. So how long were you? We don't even know how long he was doing this shit. He could have started this shit 6 months after he got out.
Yeah.
So it's not like you even tried. Where you were like, yo, I'm gonna try to do the right thing, and but I can't find a job. Nobody's checking for me. Like, you know, and then you feel like, listen, my only choice is to do whatever because I gotta live. I gotta feed my kids. That wasn't your story. No. You did this because you're lazy and you like fast money. Plain and simple. I don't have no sympathy for him. None whatsoever.
And then he had the nerve to say, oh, I'm trying to figure out where I went wrong. How about you committed a crime?
Wow.
And then you worried about what you're going to do when you come out and how I can't be working at McDonald's after I get here. Why not? Because you stole from people's pension and livelihood. And you don't think that's more that you need to discuss that and think about how wrong you were when you did that?
Yeah.
Worried about when you come out or whether it's going to look good whether you work at McDonald's or not?
Yeah. And how do you fix your mouth to say? You might think that. But how do you say that shit out loud and say it to an attorney, no less?
Yeah.
And how about when he said, I love my wife, but I hate everything about her or some shit?
You don't, that didn't make any sense to me either. I hate everything about her and I despise everything she does.
I love her, but I despise everything. Like, what kind of stupid comment was that? And that's so, like, again, leave Phaedra for all of her shit. She didn't go to court. Like, her actions speak louder than words, but she's never really dogged him out. Like, she could have said a lot of things. And she just like, you know what? He told me things that weren't true, blah, blah, blah. He ruined our family. But all this mudslinging, like, it's just, you know, that's the mother of your children. If for no other reason, you should keep that shit to yourself. But you know what? He's a fucking baby. Just like the fact that he lied about Phaedra. And even when he was telling it to whoever, he was explaining himself, well, you know, she did whatever and I had to do something to get my wife off my back. And, you know, and he was like kind of smirking when he was saying it. Like, that's what I did. You're 30-something years old. That's what teenagers do. No grown man does that.
And he had enough to be like, why are you looking like that? He goes, because we work for you. Oh, well, my bad.
Yeah.
Almost kind of like, we were sticking up for you, and you looking at us now like, why y'all so shocked? Why y'all so upset?
Yeah, he doesn't get it, and it's just it's sad. And I mean, I don't feel completely bad for Phaedra because I feel like you kind of knew what you was dealing with.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, you know,
at least she's taking the steps to not buy into his bullshit.
That's true. Yeah, she knows, she sees it for what it is.
Right.
Unlike other people from other Real Housewives franchises. Right.
Well, But, I didn't... That was kind of thing. And let's segue to the Don Juan.
Thank you for bringing that up. I had completely forgot about Don Juan. Yes, I'm ready to go in. Because that shit right there...
He needs to be fired.
Immediately.
Because that was some bullshit.
Bitch ass.
That wasn't either... Even if you felt the way you did... The language he used, he got real hype.
Yes.
Like he was not professional at all.
No, it's like he's ready to fight.
Yeah, and then he has all these. Well, I put her. Yeah, she like he said, she's in this one spot for it's been a minute now.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can pat yourself on the back all the time on where you got her to, and before you came along, she was doing this, or we got her to do this. But at the end of the day, she's now, where is she? She's still not moving forward.
Mm-hmm.
And because someone's objective enough to be like, well, the things that we've worked out, why isn't it not being executed?
Yes.
You have. Yeah, that conversation right there with him and Todd.
See, that's the problem with some folks. It's about, you can't take constructive criticism. It's just like that girl from the House of DVF, the black girl, Abigail. Mm-hmm. I hate everything about her. Because, again, they tell you something and they say it to you nicely. Like, you could work, like, let me tell you this. If you were working for Diddy or somebody like that, that nigga would not mince his words in any way, shape, or form. You might go home crying. I feel like DVF and her crew try very hard to be, polite, mature, and say what they have to say without being rude or disrespectful.
But don't you think it's because, here's my thing, here's where the black thing comes in. I think they're biting their tongue because they feel like, if I were to say something so harsh, they feel guilty because she's coming on with the sleeves with, I'm an underprivileged black girl coming from the projects. I got to take care of my brother. I got to make sure he go to school. I just don't understand where these family comes from, where everybody falls on this one kid, But
I don't think so, because I think they talk to the white girls the same way. I think that they've been very, I think that's just DVF's way. Because she even said it, you don't have to be a bitch to be successful. That's just not who she is. I think the way she handles the woman, she's honest, but you walk away from her feeling good.
Right.
Or you should.
I mean, I don't mean her. I meant her team.
Oh, I thought her team I think the guy handled, I think the only one who was kind of nasty to them was the designer guy, who I loved. Mm-hmm. I loved it when he's like, this is the only sketch you did. If I did this, I'd get fired. He brought it to them real. But that's how, you cannot want to be the brand ambassador of a brand like DVF and have thin skin. Yeah. You can't do it. If that's who you are, then you're not ready for this. And that's easier. It's better that we see what you are now than later and weed you out. Yeah. But Abigail, with this whole, I'm just me, and, they knew who I was when I came here. So you're perfect? Yeah. Is that what you're saying? Yeah. You have no room for improvement? So why are you even here if you know every fucking thing?
Right.
And that attitude.
Company?
You don't even want to do what you're supposed to do. When they were supposed to sell the dresses, I think they were Bergdorf's or Neiman, I can't remember. And she wouldn't even do it. She's like, well, I'm not really a salesperson. So now that's just, again, this is who I am and I'm not willing to change.
Right.
That's part of the job. When you have any kind of job, especially some high profile job like that, you're going to end up doing a lot of shit that you're not quote unquote good at.
That's not authentically you all the time. Yeah.
But that's what you got to do. You know what I'm saying?
How about you be smart enough to think about, how can I bring me to this situation?
Thank you.
It's not all me, but how can I bring a little bit of me here?
Thank you. Or how about, let me figure out how to fake the funk and do what I got to do. Let me, act as if. You ever heard that phrase, bitch? Pretend like, this is who I am in order to get where I need to get. You don't see the bigger picture. And especially her. Because she came with this freaking sob story. Woe is me. My whole family is resting on my shoulders. Well, if your whole family is resting on your shoulders, you would fucking try harder. Yeah. If your family was really waiting for you to succeed, you would do whatever the fuck it took. Because you have all of these people depending on you. And the fact that you're not willing to, simply because it doesn't suit your personality, means that whole story was bullshit.
Thank you. I feel the same way. It's an exaggeration.
Yeah, you played the black card. You played the poor black girl card, and it worked to a certain degree. Mm-hmm. But I can't with you because, like we said last time, there are people who grew up in other countries outside of the U.S. where they really fucking struggled. 4 people living in a room, no heat, no nothing, and they didn't complain. This bitch talking about she from the projects, whatever. I don't know her whole story, but I bet you every Christmas she had shit under the tree she wanted.
Okay, yep.
You paid for your weave. You paid for your makeup and all the other shit. Stop with this whole woe is me. I'm born. I got my parents are sharecroppers shit. Come on, bitch. I don't believe that for a hot minute. And that whole crying. You're such a badass, but you're gonna cry when you get in front of her. Bye, Felicia.
It's tired. It's so tired. I'm done with that. Yeah, and it's the same thing between her and Don Juan.
Oh, Don Juan.
First, I feel because it came from you, and if you, and I mean, I liked Todd handled it very well.
He did.
He's like, well, she values my opinion, and it ain't nothing that because he said to him, well, you keep saying that I missed this for my mother's wedding and this person thinks she goes, but that's what you have a team for.
Thank you.
And if you're not controlling your team well, you should have a team where you could step away and things get done.
Exactly.
And that was like, say no more, Todd. And it's so true. Yep. But you know why? It's because he works in television. Mm-hmm. He works with a multitude of people.
Yes.
That he gets it.
Yeah.
Because it's true. There's nobody that's going to be one assistant. If I'm assistant to the star personally, then my other assistants got to be real great.
Exactly.
Because I'm taking the last end of it. Yeah. So everything else is being delegated to you. So I shouldn't be going through the small stuff in terms of getting her wedding all together. I should pass that on to you and be like, good, I'm going to be over here for 5 days.
Yes, you report back to me. Let me know what's going on.
Have any issues.
And especially since you and Candy, see, this is the irony of it. The reason he caught feelings is because he feels like him and Candy are friends. Right. If he didn't feel like they were friends and it was more of a business relationship, he wouldn't have came out his mouth like that. But he feels like that's my homegirl. So now my thing is, if that's your homegirl, you mean to tell me that she would want you to miss your mom's birthday or whatever to do some shit for her? Like, if you really came to Candy and said, you know, it's my mom's birthday, I got to do such and such, you think that couldn't have been worked out? I hate people who make sacrifices, I feel like, so that they can say later, I did this for you, I did that for you, when nobody asked you to do it.
Yeah, but that's a bullshit excuse, because if you had a good team, then you would have been able to do that.
And if you planned in advance, you wouldn't have to.
You want to be the saver, you want to be Superman and be everywhere and you probably micromanage your team and want to be, you want to see the thing, you want to pick it yourself, to get the glory.
Yes.
So then you sacrifice your personal life, and that's whose fault is that? Yours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
exactly. Because you got to, in order to lead well, you have to be able to employ strong people. That's also a great asset of someone that's being a good leader. Mm-hmm. Leaders don't do everything themselves.
They know how to delegate.
Fucking good people to do it.
Yeah. You have to be a good manager. You have to learn how to delegate. You can't do everything yourself. Yeah. And I feel like with Don Juan, I think part of his thing is he feels like he's Candy's friend, so he wants to do this shit. Like he wants to be part of the party. He wants to be involved in all this. But then you want to cry employee when it suits you to be employee. Right. Because when you're, and this is why I don't know that friends can be personal assistants and be managers.
The lines are muddy.
The lines are so blurred. I don't think that you can do both. Like, it takes two very, very mature people to do it. Because at some point, the person who's the boss is going to have to check you. And that person who gets checked is going to have to take it and realize that right now we're in boss-employee mode. A lot of people can't handle that.
Yeah.
And I think especially Candy, since she's very nice, like, she's not an asshole. So I could see where it's hard. Like, she can't even fucking check her mother. Like, I could see her being like, all right. And that's why, you need somebody like Todd who's objective to come in and say, this is what the situation is.
Right. And he looks like the bad guy.
Yeah.
It needs to be said. I mean, the only thing that I will grant Candy's is she'll smile on her face and be like, well, he's my husband. Mm-hmm. And I have an input. Like, she will smile and say it. She's not going to be, like you said, a bitch and, like, really give it to you, but she's like, this is how it is. I'm gonna smile and tell you that's how it is, and Yeah. But that conversation, Todd, and then he knew he wasn't gonna win the fight with Todd once Todd said, you need to delegate.
Yeah.
You can't.
Because he hit him with because you know what, Todd, what I liked about him, he didn't argue. He didn't go at him like man to man. Like, it didn't turn into a bitchy exchange. It turned into business. And that's why Todd was like, listen, I get you, but here's the solution. But see, that's the problem. Niggas don't want solutions. They just want to beef.
Yeah.
Most people, they just want to beef. They just want to be, they just want to be heard, but they don't focus on, well, how do we fix this? And I think that's where Todd hit him with the, well, okay, now this is what we do in the future to fix it. But he was all riled up. He wanted Todd to argue with him so that he could have this back and forth exchange.
Yeah.
But Todd wouldn't give it to
Candy,
him.
Your man ain't shit. He's trying to take over. He's trying to take shit over. But it's like, no, I hear where you're coming from, but you should never have to miss your mother's wedding and this person's whatever, graduation, whatever else you think that you're missing that's in your personal life, if you're not doing a good job delegating to the people that you should be delegating to.
Exactly.
And that's when he got it. I was like, I do like that he's good for Candy. I don't know how long he's going, because she's got a lot of people that's very opinionated.
Yes.
And it's unfortunate because I feel like at the end of the day, like I told you our last podcast, she's going to have to get rid of a lot of those people in order, because I think Todd is a voice of reason.
Yes.
And right now I don't see any ill intentions in him.
Yeah.
But because those people are so, like you said, invested in the Candy brand for themselves, not really for her.
Mm-hmm, exactly.
They say it's for her, but it's a glory for them, so they can be in the limelight.
Yep.
I feel like they're going to be a detriment to her. Like Don Juan is not going to be the last.
Nah.
And her mother, you know what I mean? And she's going to have to, and it's going to be the hardest, one of the hardest things to do is because she's been with Don Juan for a very, very long time, it seems.
Yeah.
And her mother's her mother. But those people are not, they're dragging her down.
Yeah, they are. And just like Todd said, he's like, well, she hasn't done this. She hasn't done that. Like, you know, it's so many things that he's pulling up. And like, you know, even like they said, the projects, why is this not done? And he keeps going back, well, you know, I was the wedding and the wedding is done. Like, why are you still harping on the work you did in the past? Like, okay, any good business person, any project manager, any event planner, you always think in steps ahead. Yeah. You know, like while you're completing a project, you're always thinking about the next step. You got to start laying the framework for your next thing.
At the wedding, you already got something else set.
Yeah, you can't be waiting until this is over and then just think, oh, okay, I'm good for the next 3 months because I did a good job on this. That's not how it works.
At the wedding, Monday morning, you like, I got a meeting with X, Y, and Z for this thing while they're on their honeymoon.
Yes, or
whatever it is that's going on. Yeah, that's already set up before, like you said, before the event has even probably taken. Actually, what came to fruition, it's already on the next step. I got a meeting with this person because that's already in the bag.
Yes.
You know, the flowers are ordered, the place is booked. All they do is people got to show up. Now I'm on to this next project. Yeah. I'm making other phone calls about something else in the midst of something else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. That's how business people do it.
Yeah.
You know, and I mean, I think that's the problem because I don't know what their relationship is. I know when the show first started, I remember him being her producer or something. I don't know. That's how they labeled him. But that goes back to this is not what these people's expertise is. It's just like, you're my friend. You need a job. I want to keep you in my camp. Here, let me call you my event planner, even though this person is not qualified. And it doesn't mean that somebody can't become qualified, but their heart has to be in it. And it has to be bigger than I just want to hang out with my girl and get paid at the same time.
Yep. And to get better at what you do, you probably, you know, network with other events coordinator, whatever it is that you need to do so you know that you're on the right track with the person that this job you just took on.
Exactly. Join some trade groups, do some shit. Like, you know, you can't just sit on your ass and hang out and drink wine with her and think that, you know. And another thing, too, is because Candy probably cares so much about them and it seems like it's hard for her to check people. Even if they give her subpar work, I can see her letting it slide because she doesn't want to hurt their feelings or whatever.
Or she'll just say, you know, you can't do that. Next time you can't do that. And it's kind of like a slap on the wrist.
They don't respect her the way that they should. Mm-hmm. That's what it comes down to.
Anybody comes in like Todd that says from a different perspective, a business perspective, is like, well, why you all of a sudden you got a problem with me? She was doing fine with that before you came here. No, really, she wasn't.
No, she wasn't. See, they sitting on the fact that Candy already has money. So I think they probably think like, well, she's good. She's got a house. She's got money. Like, and yeah, if Candy lives her life the right way, she can probably live off of her money for the rest of her life if she doesn't do anything else, if she's frugal. But that's not what it's about. You know what I'm saying? Like, she wants to be a brand. Like, she needs to do other things, and that's what you were hired for. And the fact that I don't know, that whole scene just turned me off. I was so proud of Todd.
And like I said, she's got to get rid of them because there's no reason why she has been around for so long that she can't be like a Jessica Simpson and a Kim Kardashian in terms of branding and shit that anything she touch, you know what I mean? In that sense, she can get behind. But they're not, the people, like you said, they got a limited frame of thinking. And so they, like Todd said, you're just doing things local.
Yeah.
We need to think of, we need to start being on a more, you know, a bigger brand. You know, you can't just do things in Atlanta only. You got to start branching out.
And Atlanta's such a small market, they probably saturated it already. You know, everybody in Atlanta knows who Candy is. Yeah. You know, it's like, it's got it, like he said, I mean, I don't know if it was, you know, realistic to talk about, you know, the president's black, she should have been doing something with him. But like, real talk, you know, like, think about it. Like you said, the Kardashians, these are women who don't even have talent. No. And look at this bitch is on the cover of Vogue. Like, you know, Candy's a producer, a Grammy winner, she's a singer. Like, you know, come on, son.
Now she's got this platform with this show, she's on the show.
Yeah.
They need to segue her into something else.
Yeah.
Where, you know, have her guest talk on some, like, somebody's missing the guest host for, like, have her, on the real, like,
Yeah.
You know, it's a new show. They got, you know, it's still pretty, it's pretty new. So something like have her on the reel to kind of chime in to be a fifth or whatever guest or even a little mini co-host. They need to talk that out.
Yeah.
Because the more she's visible and she starts to cross over, the more people you'll see her on all types of different channels.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But they're not. Those are the things that on a small scale. The Real is still like a new talk show. That's not even really a big talk show, but they should be able to get her on some shit like that.
Yeah, exactly. She said some shit like that. At least some shit like that.
Yeah.
All right.
Got on The View.
Yeah, that's.
Come on.
Yeah, he's slacking. All right, we're gonna stop and we're gonna go into the next segment.
Any one of those show and talk about some sex toy or whatever she's promoting at the moment. And even if it's not going to produce a business, it's just having her move around and be seen
just
enough.
Be visible, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like look at
what most of
look at Nene, you know, and Candy has more talent than Nene.
Yeah.
And this bitch is on Broadway.
Yeah.
You know, she's doing Kenya's about to do a Celebrity Apprentice. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Who are their management teams is getting them these gigs, and why can't Candy get them?
Yeah. There's no reason why she shouldn't be moving around, and the only place I've seen her right now is on Atlanta Housewives. There's no reason.
Yeah, and she's been on for a minute now, almost as long as dummy. What's her name, Nene?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're gonna stop, and then we're gonna pick up in another segment.
All right.
All right.